What we're going to talk about today is our JSAs. I know everybody is doing JSAs, but the problem that I had a meeting with Murphy last week, and the problem that they're having is that a lot of them are different and incomplete. So what we want to try to do, and you guys can work with your respectable crews on this, is we want to get one JSA made and written for each different type of job that you do. So if you're doing drift and tally, I want one JSA made up for drift and tally that your crew uses, that your crew uses, that your crew uses. One for washing, that way we have them in a folder. Everybody goes, you pull one out, then all you have to do is put in the date, the time, and the information that changes for each job, but yet all of the steps for drift and tally are the same with the hazards and stuff like that. I mean, now there is always a case where you can add other hazards in there, like if it's wet or super hot or whatever, but the basic steps are the same, so that if your crew's out there doing a drift and tally and you're in the middle of the job and y'all gotta get pulled, let's say you time out and you gotta go home. His crew comes out, you can say, hey man, we're on step 3. So step 3 is always gonna be the same, whether it's for your crew or your crew, that way you know where he's at. Or an emergency happens and they're out in the middle of doing a casing cut and you gotta leave, you can call him on the phone and say, hey, I'm on step 4 of JSA. That way everybody knows where to pick up and everything is the same. So over the next couple of weeks, we want to get to the point to where we have one JSA made up for washing, one JSA made up for drift and tally, one for testing, for each different job that y'all do, and then you can write the hazards down, which need to be specific hazards, not pinch points. Okay, what is a pinch point? That's what we want to do. They're not specific enough in some cases. This one here looks pretty good, but the top part's not filled out at all. So we need to make sure that we're filling this stuff out all the way through, because if an accident happens, this is the first piece of paper that their safety department is going to pull and look at, and then automatically here with this one they say, well, nobody wrote anything on the top, so y'all didn't even go over what kind of PPE you're supposed to be wearing, therefore it's automatically our fault. I'm not getting on you about anything, I'm just saying Murphy wants us to do it this specific way. So instead of doing it one way for Murphy and a different way for all these other people, we're going to do it one way all the way through. And it'll make your guys' jobs easier too, because you'll have a file folder. You can say, hey, we're drifting and tallying. You look it up. You pull up the drift and tally one. You put the date, the time, location, all the specifics. Hey, it's raining today. We add in wet conditions. Everybody goes over it. We sign it, and we're done. We don't have to sit there and rewrite the whole thing every single freaking time. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's what we want to get. So if you're wash crews, that's what I want you guys to concentrate on, is get with the other crews and y'all come up with a JSA, handwritten one that covers everything y'all do. If you're testing crews, we're going to come up with one for all the testing. Casing cuts, we'll do one that. Now I'm not saying this all has to be done like right now, but if we start working on it now, maybe in a few weeks we'll have a good bunch of paperwork together. That way we can get this done and try to make everybody's stuff better. Anybody got any questions or input? Y'all got any input on this?
Should it be a checklist?
It'll pretty much be like a checklist. Okay, spotted this, like this one, first step, spotting equipment. You pull up location, spotting equipment. Second one, rigging up equipment. Now with that, I'd like to see rigging up equipment a little bit more detailed. Okay, what are we rigging up? We're setting up a pressure washer, because this one's for washing. Setting up the pressure washer on this side of location, unrolling the hoses, getting everything. Then washing, hey, that's good because it's just washing. Hey, flying debris, cuts, pinch points. What are the pinch points? Next one, rigging down. That's those fine, but like rigging up, let's be more descriptive. Add another step or two in there. Set up truck this way, roll out hoses,
Use spotter,
prime the pump, use the spotter, exactly, things like that. Get a little bit more detailed, and then the potential hazards: slip, trips, falls, and fatigue. Okay, fatigue is good. Slips, trips, and falls. What can we slip on? What can we trip over? What can make us fall? We need more description in those hazards to help cover you. That makes sense? Okay. So that's how we'll cover that. Hopefully we can get that done within the next couple weeks or so.